New charges for a teen who tampered with Hickman High School's yearbook.
This bright-colored spill across the highway left a tasty mess.
It can either be eliminated as a possible connection to a crime, or it can be used to link an individual to a possible crime.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruling shouldn't affect Missouri's arrest process. KOMU8 News at 6 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU8 News at 6.
The state budget director and legal advisor talked to the media today about why Governor Nixon vetoed legislation last week. I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Nicole Kersavage. That bill would cut income taxes on business income. KOMU8's Christine Roto is in Jefferson City and has more on the veto.
Well, I'm here in Jefferson City, where earlier today the state's budget director, Linda Lubring, and the legal advisor to the governor, Chris Pieper, gave a few reasons why the governor decided to veto the legislation last week. Reporting live from Jefferson City, Christine Roto, KOMU8 News.
The Missouri Highway Patrol plans to crack down hard on drunk boaters this summer. Marine operations troopers get together during the summer months to hold special patrols to locate boaters that are driving intoxicated. Last summer, Lieutenant John Holtz of the Missouri Highway Patrol says there were 238 DWI arrests made.
It's a good time of the year to.
The first special patrol will be during the last week of June and continue throughout the summer months.
Missouri law enforcement officials tell us not to expect any changes after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling last week that investigators can obtain DNA samples from people not yet convicted of a crime. The court ruled 5-4 in favor of the ruling. The majority opinion says obtaining DNA samples is similar to fingerprinting. KOMU8's Rebecca Neff found that Missouri is one of 28 states that already takes DNA samples when making arrests for serious crimes.
Can you throw that pre-salmon back to us?
In accordance with Missouri statutes, investigators can take DNA samples. Rebecca Neff, KOMU8 News, Jefferson City.
The dissenting opinion filed by Justice Scalia argues taking DNA samples without conviction violates Fourth Amendment rights.
The student at Hickman High School who changed a classmate's name to a sexually suggestive term has now been charged. The prosecutor's office is lowering the arresting charges of felony property damage and harassment to a misdemeanor. 17-year-old student Caitlin Booth changed the name of a senior classmate in this year's Hickman High School yearbooks. Booth has now been charged with tampering with computer data. The penalties for this charge under Missouri law states a person commits the crime of tampering with computer data if he knowingly and without authorization or without reasonable grounds to believe he has such authorization. Booth violated Article 1 of the law, which states she modifies or destroys data or programs residing or existing internal to a computer system or computer network. For a misdemeanor, the maximum penalty someone can receive is up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine. For felonies, the most severe falls under a Class A, where someone could face 10 years up to life in prison. A misdemeanor will draw a smaller penalty if she were convicted. A felony charge in property damage can be applied to any amount of damage surpassing $750. The cost to replace all the yearbooks would have been around $41,000. Instead of replacing the yearbooks, the school chose to place stickers with the correct name over the changed name.
A Missouri woman is accused of trying to scare children by approaching them with a chainsaw while wearing a ski mask. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Department says Lynn Marie Herzog of Winfield, Missouri, is charged with felony harassment in Sunday's incident. Neighbors say the 50-year-old woman has also been seen photographing and videotaping neighborhood kids. Herzog is jailed on $10,000 bond.
A new study by an MU researcher has found that more than half of women who experience domestic abuse suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, but most do not receive mental health services. Those are the findings of Mansu Yu, an assistant professor of social work at MU. Researchers did find that most women who are survivors of domestic abuse did see their family care doctor regularly. Therefore, Yu says family care doctors are in a unique position to refer abused women to mental health professionals.
These survivors might not seek help from mental health professionals.
Yu adds that abused women often have trouble obtaining housing and legal services.
An accident this morning at Stadium and Champions Drive sent 4 people to the hospital. Both westbound lanes were closed for about 45 minutes. 3 people from the white Mazda and 1 from the black Ford Escape were transported to the hospital. The Mazda was going eastbound on Stadium. The driver did not yield to the Ford Escape. The 3 people in the Mazda have been released from the hospital. The driver of the Ford Escape is still at the hospital with serious injuries.
Drivers on Highway 63 today saw a unique kind of roadkill. These oranges scattered across the highway near Vandiver Drive this afternoon. A witness told KOMU a strap on the back of an orange truck snapped, sending the fruit flying. He and some other drivers passing by stopped to collect the free oranges off the side of the highway. One man who filled his truck with hundreds of the oranges didn't want to be interviewed because he thought he might be doing something illegal. MoDOT, however, told us it is not illegal, but there is always a safety threat when walking on the shoulder of a highway.
It's finally climbing into the 90s with the summer heat in full swing. Let's send it over to Dave to take a look at your forecast.
Thank you, Nicole. We made it up to 92 degrees today. That forecast is coming up for you in just a minute or two, right here on KOMU 8 News at 6.
Potting plants in an urban setting. Coming up, we'll look at a woman with a green thumb.
And it's that time of the year, animal breeding season. Find out what the city did to help combat the problem coming up in 10 minutes.